Hello, everyone. We are live. Thank you for coming on the Show Must Go On line. Today's guest is Karla Puno Garcia. How are you doing today?
I'm doing so well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. This is Hamilton week, and who better to chat with than someone who's in Hamilton, and not just that, like a fabulous, fabulous member. I love watching you work.
Thank you so much.
So I always love to start with just kind of your origin story. How'd you get into dancing, acting, and choreography?
Yeah. So I am a dancer first and foremost. I began dancing and competing nationally from the ages of 5 all throughout high school. Then I majored in dance at NYU. And from there, I've always wanted to be on Broadway and dance on Broadway. So I started, working. And in my in-between jobs, I would be teaching at dance studios. So that's kind of how I got my love for choreography and creating movement. And where my work and my choreography intersect is performance. And, now I'm at a point where I'm really working towards just building my choreography career and eventually choreographing shows. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. Yeah, it's been fun checking out your Instagram and your YouTube and seeing all those choreographed dances that, as someone who loves Broadway and loves to watch people dance and attempt to dance on my own, it's been very funny to kind of try it at home. Actually, funny I should mention that because you might be able to hear a dog right now who is just barking. Apologies for that. I am chilling here by myself, and he decided to go outside today. Sometimes he's inside for these, sometimes he's outside. But we were dancing along to one of your live YouTubes, and it was so cute.
Oh my gosh, which one?
It was one of the early ones for sure. When it first started, first started quarantine, and then you were like doing some of the moves, and then we would do the spin around, and he would look at me, and like he gave me his paw, and we were holding. It was so cute. If we do it again, I'll have to like set the camera up and record us.
That's amazing. I didn't know it was reaching dogs as well. Like that's amazing. I would love to see you guys dance together.
Yes. Oh, I love him so much. His name is Slim, and I feel like
he's your quarantine buddy.
He is. I feel like we all need someone, something, like whether you have someone in person there, some people are quarantining with a lot of people, some people by themselves, like, how's your quarantine situation?
My quarantine has been good. I was hunkered down in New York City with my boyfriend, David, who's also in the show. He's our dance captain. Mm-hmm. But now we're in California and hanging out with my family and her friend and my little sister and my little brother and his girlfriend, and we're in one big house in Santa Cruz, California, and we've become a household.
Yes.
A little California trip for the next month because, as you know, Broadway is shut down, and so I'm never really getting this time again to hang out with my family on the West Coast and for us all to be together. So there's kind of a silver lining with the timing of everything. Mm-hmm. It's bittersweet because we're not going to be back for a while, but I like to see it as using this time to do things that we have not been able to do for the past, few years being in a show.
Right. I know the schedule, doing a show 8 times a week, plus you're teaching and you have a life of your own. And I could only imagine that this is not something that anyone would ever wish for, right? And there's so many negatives, but you might as well take advantage and have some of these positive bonding moments. Like I get to spend all this time with my dog. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely different. And you try to appreciate the good, like what you just said, because as you know, for most people, especially people on Broadway who are doing a million things and doing 8 shows a week, you just forget what it's like to breathe sometimes, and we're always trying to get the next thing or the next gig and accomplish so much. That I think this time has really forced us to sit down, get more sleep, and recharge and be like, oh, I enjoy cooking a meal without rushing to the theater at half hour. And, although we miss that now, it's you kind of you're taking a second to appreciate life in a different way, which I think is very important for everyone in the world.
Yes, 100%. I know for breakfast yesterday, I made eggs with broccoli, mushroom, spinach, topped it off with guacamole and cheese, and I felt so fancy.
Yeah, and I'm sure like you don't usually do that where you're usually on the go like most people, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
So
exactly. And I want to say hi to everyone watching at home. I can see all of your comments. Annabelle here, Andy, hello, hello. So if y'all have any questions, comments, please feel free to chat. We can see them. We will ask them. We will engage with you. So thank you for watching. And, you know, yeah, this timing, especially with in quarantine, they did decide to bring Hamilton up a year, which is pretty exciting. And
yeah.
since you're in Ham Fam, and I loved watching that Helpless video. Can you talk about that process?
Yeah, it was so much fun, and it was especially special to see to perform with the original cast once again, you know. So I joined the show 6 months after it opened on Broadway. So I really did feel the experience of being with the original cast and performing with Lin-Manuel and David and Leslie and all the original sisters and Pippa, you know. So we got to do the Tonys too. So although I was not a part of creating the show from the ground up and from the public and opening on Broadway, it was an honor to be able to share the stage with that original cast. And it was really special to be asked to be a part of the Jimmy Fallon, you know, Helpless video, because we just haven't heard those voices in so long, and heard Pippa do Eliza, and, you know, hear Lynn do the rap, and to sing those harmonies with them was really, really special. And I think at a time like this, it felt good to, yeah, it felt so good to hear again.
It was something that I just kept smiling, right? Like from the moment it went on, and like, I'm quite the Hamill fan, right? Like I love Hamilton. I've seen it 8 times, which is pretty cool.
Wow. In New York or just different companies?
All over New York a few times. I saw it in Puerto
Yeah.
Rico with Lynn, which was
Wow.
cool. Yeah, and even London.
Oh my gosh. You're a connoisseur of Hamilton. That's amazing.
I try. I should mention though that my boyfriend has seen it 48 times.
What?
No,
How?
it's absurd. And never like original cast, right? Like that's always been that blind spot. So now with Hamilton coming to Disney Plus, it's still kind of like, you know, there's nothing like having seen it in person, right? Like we'll always have that theater experience, and that's why having it on Disney Plus is fine, because everyone will very happily go back to see the show in person. But
Yeah.
at least, you know, we'll get that experience. Are you excited to see it on Disney Plus?
I'm super excited. I can show you guys this. I'm going to post this on my Instagram, but so like I said, I'm not the original cast. And so I also I'm in a swing, so I'm not on stage, but I was one of the 4 swings who helped light the show. So
Hey.
without us standing there and being like Hercules, I think we were like Hercules and Lynn and or Hamilton, and you know, just being the different people to light the show, there would not be a movie. So it was 3 days, 10-hour days right before they shot the film, that me and my fellow swings, we were used as bodies to light the show. So that was awesome. And then when the movie was being filmed, we were upstairs in the dressing room just in case, you know, being the swings, just in case anything went wrong, anybody got hurt, and we were ready to go. But so it's fun watching the trailer, because it's like, oh, we were upstairs. We were ready to go just in case. And of course, we've done the show a million times and gotten to perform in the actual show. But you know, I think it's going to be really, really good. It looks, from what I've heard, especially from the people that have seen it, other people in the cast, it's shot very well, and it captures a lot of the same feelings that you would get when you're watching. I will say, you know, there's nothing better than seeing theater live. Like, no matter how well it's shot, of course, you're going to want to come to the theater and see a Broadway show. It's not the same. And no matter how good the production value is or the cinematography, it's still pause. Oh, there we go. I hope is remind us and bring back. And I'm not sure. Okay. I don't know if it does pause when it does, or could you still hear me?
It paused a little bit. I'm trying to see. Here, let me try turning this off. Sometimes we're out here in Washington State, and sometimes the connection does not work as well. So let's see if that. All right, let's see. I think it's a little robotic, but maybe it'll come back. Okay.
Pretty smooth right now.
Oh no. Okay, this has happened before. It's okay. She's coming back in. Yay!
Yay! Got it? Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah. Although nothing will match live theater, I think that the movie will hopefully remind everyone and urge them to, you know, when we do get the chance to come back and to support live theater and because there's nothing like that feeling, as you know. I mean, you've seen the show a million times, and with any show, like seeing something live, there's no way to capture that through any other medium.
Yeah, I wonder, were there any like fans in the audience or anyone like cheering, or were we not going to hear audience applause?
I don't know if you'll hear anything. I know that there was an audience at one point, and for when they filmed it, but I don't know if the applause, there's like applause in the sound from what it looks like, and from what I've heard, I feel like it's just a capturing of the actual show. Yeah. So that's interesting too, because I mean, live audience energy, you know, I feel like even when you watch a movie, you know, when the reactions, when you watch it with different people, it's like you get a completely different experience.
Yes, exactly. I know. It's so interesting too, like having this all at home and not being able to like gather in groups or go to the theater or anything. So we're having like this little like Zoom or StreamYard viewing party where we're all just gonna like have our cameras up, audio off, watch, and so like you can kind of feel like you're together, because it's sad not being able to experience it with someone, but at least with this technology there is that like connecting point.
Wouldn't it be amazing if like everyone in the world or whoever is watching Hamilton we could all be in this like super big Zoom and just hear everyone. Actually, I don't know. That might be crazy, because then we'd be like, shut up.
Let me watch the movie.
Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely, there's a camaraderie in an audience, and a live audience and a Broadway audience that's going to be missed. But you're creating your own little version, so that's good.
Yeah, it's cool. We have this Showtreons, as we call it, the people who support me through the bwaySHO Patreon, and a bunch of them are here right now watching. So hello.
Oh, amazing. What time are you watching the movie?
So we're doing it twice, because I'm watching it at midnight, of course.
Oh my God.
So very excited. And then for most of the people who are like either working or who are on the East Coast, when it comes out at 3, we're also watching it at 7 o'clock, because that's when like the official Hamilton viewing party is. How about you?
Yes, I think so. I teach my Instagram live class every Friday at 4 p.m. And since I'm here with my family, of course, we're all going to watch it. And David and my boyfriend, you know, he's also in the show. So we're going to wait till, I mean, I'm deciding this right now. I haven't just talked to them about it, but I want to teach my class, and then do like a 6:30, 7 o'clock, like evening viewing. We've been watching a movie every night, so this can be tomorrow's movie. I don't know. I just want it. I'm anticipating it so much. Like I feel like I can wait just a little bit longer. But are you willing to wait for it? More than once? Yeah, and wait for it, because it's gonna be up, right? I mean, you probably more than it's going to continue to stay Disney Plus. Yeah.
That was something some people were nervous about, and then Lynn came out.
Oh, okay. There we
go. I know, technology, I'm telling you.
It again, sorry.
I can hear you. Oh,
I can. Okay. Can you hear me? There
it's
we
a
go.
little. Can you hear me again?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Really?
Andy saying that she'll watch it at least 4 times. Yes, I anticipate watching this.
Oh my gosh, I know people are gonna know this show.
I know. Do you feel like you're gonna do some of the choreography at home?
Yes, here's the thing. If this happened at any other point, if we were not in quarantine and we were still, if I was still going to work and I was doing the show every few times a week, being a swing going on, because it was originally supposed to release in October, I think, too. Like, it would not be as anticipated. And I don't even know if I'd watch it the day it was released. I mean, we would literally be doing the show live. So why would we, it's Hamilton overload whenever you're in it. And then but for obviously in this time, like, I miss work. I miss performing. I miss doing the show, singing the songs, dancing the choreography. So it's gonna feel really nostalgic and bittersweet, and it's almost gonna feel like home again, watching the movie. So it's a different time, and it's going to be appreciated in a different way, especially from the cast. For me personally,
Yeah, I wonder if there will be like a big Hamilton thread. That would actually be really funny to have like all of the Hamilton cast members from like all of the different companies watching,
right? Yeah. I mean, I'm sure. Yeah. Check out everyone's stories. I know a lot of the original cast right now, currently, if you go to all their Instagrams, like, they're posting a lot of things. Like, I'm going to post that stuff and just old Hamilton stuff, because everyone is super excited, and it is nostalgic. It's like we're just thinking back to that time, and that first year of Hamilton, when we had the Tony Awards, when there were the Grammys, when all the original cast was there. It was so special. I mean, it's still so special, but it was the year that the movement started, right? And everything was supercharged. It was the year that of the election, and like Mike Pence came to our show. We had a celebrity every night just coming to witness this, movement that was created. And so to be a part of that was very empowering. So this movie is kind of, it's a reminder of that year too.
Would you want to know that there was a celebrity in the house that night, or did you not?
Oh yeah, I don't care. I mean, I'm a swing who covers the ensemble. I'm not playing like Eliza. and I get more nervous if I know a certain friend or peer is watching, If it's like whoever, if it's Will Smith, I'm like, yes, let's go. He was one of my favorite celebrities to meet backstage too. There was one like every night that year. It was so crazy.
Wow. And, being a swing, we always talk about how like swings are superheroes. It is amazing what you can do to have all of those different tracks memorized. And especially in a show like Hamilton, where so many of them are like very similar tracks, and they're like right next to each other, but one of them you start with the left and the other with the right, or you're picking up the drinks. Like, how do you keep all of that in your head?
Oh my gosh. It takes a specific type of brain to not only be a swing, but to be a swing in Hamilton in an American musical, because that show is unlike any other show when it comes to tracks, when it comes to how many props you're carrying, let alone the vocal harmonies, but it's also, we're always on stage for 2.5 hours. There's no breaks. You're literally, ensemble is on stage the entire time. And so the first 9 months of me being a swing, you're learning your tracks in the show, and it's trial and error. Like, you make mistakes, and then you remember what mistakes you made, and that's how you learn your tracks. It's never completely perfect, So you're stressed some of the time in the beginning. At this point, look, this is my 4th year in the show. I've been in the show for 4 years, and you have so many memories to go off of that you're like, this time I'm not going to make a right because when I made a right that one time, I remember I bumped into this person. So I'm going to go this way because I remember that happened, you know? So it is really fun though. It's the most rewarding. Like you really do, you feel like a superhero. You're like, I just did 5 tracks in 1 week, you know, and I enjoy it because it's fresh every time. You get to play a different part. You get to be the bartender, or I get to be the bullet track and carry the bullet, you know, towards Burr at the very end. And you get to be his mom who gets lifted a lot. We call that the dead mother track. Funny enough. Or when you know, like when you're woman 1, you get to be in the beginning of Helpless. You're the ladies, like you get to walk around and like do that first cross across the stage. So every part has its own little special moment. And as a swing, you get to do all of them. So with the stress comes a lot of reward and fulfillment. And I think the fact that I've been in the show for so long and it's still exciting is a testament to that. Yeah.
Yeah, I could only imagine. I would guess that's why people stay with it for so long, is that it's not like that standard show of like, oh, well, and it's a long show, mind you, right? Like this isn't
so long. Yes. It's so long, you guys. It's so, wait, really quick. I see Ashley says, yeah, this is BTC's. Yeah. So Brian Terrell Clark was our George Washington at one point. He's also from Maryland. Woo! And, this is his company, Indefined, INDEFINED, and you can go online and the proceeds go to different organizations. And he has like an awesome line of social justice shirts. So yeah, check him out. But what was I gonna say? Oh, the show is very, very long. So it's about 2 hours and 20 minutes, and the swings can leave a little bit early. So we say, has Philip died yet? Because can leave when he dies, which is around the 2 hour mark.
Yeah.
And it's so funny, yeah, because you're like, oh my God, it's been so long, he hasn't died yet.
I have to imagine those are the type of things you do, right? Just to like keep it fresh.
yeah, you know.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
The first time I saw the show, when he dies, that's like one of the most heartbreaking moments, you know?
Yeah.
But then like 3 years later, you're like, oh, finally he's dead. Let's go. We can leave. No, it's super fun.
That's amazing. Yeah. You know, those are kind of those stories backstage that you love to hear as an audience member, because you're just sitting there. And I've covered a few of the EduHams, and those are kind of funny. Yes. Yo, those reactions.
Oh my God. So you've attended some of them?
Yeah. They're so much fun.
They're so fun and they're so wonderful because you have these kids who, some of them have never even seen a Broadway show, you know, and then they're getting to watch like one of the best musicals of the decade, or of this century, I don't know. But yeah, it's super fun. I've done some of the like the Q&As like afterwards, and they're so excited to be there, and it's special for us to get to give back and reach people who, you know, normally wouldn't get to see a show. So it's inspiring, and it's inspiring for us too, to watch when they do their little performances.
Amazing.
And oh my gosh. It's super, super rewarding. I did want to say too, if anybody wants to check out, speaking of like cast members posting things, one of our swings, Daniel Watts, he was currently in the Tina Turner musical. He's also been he was on Maisel this past season, but he was a swing when first year. And there's something about camaraderie of the offstage cast, because especially the first year, a lot of people were not calling out because they were, you know, a lot of the show was being watched and viewed and reviewed. And So we didn't really go on a lot. So our backstage culture was a completely different thing. Like we got really, really close, but he just posted a little video of what goes on backstage, and it's us like dancing to Chance the Rapper, and like he would teach a little dance class, and he talks about like an entire thing of what we were doing backstage.
Wow.
His Instagram is dwattswords, and you should check it out because it was such a special little post that he made this morning, and it's just exciting, like getting to reunite, you know.
And you're so good at promoting your friends. I love to hear it.
I'm like, and also, have you ever had any moments that's called right when Philip dies and you get called back? I haven't, but people have, because Quiet Uptown, the number is right after, obviously, you know, like, so Quiet Uptown happens after Philip dies. Yeah. And I think Voltaire or one of the other swings definitely had to get in costume and do that number. And you're like, oh my God, that sucks. Like everyone's about to leave. Yeah. But I mean, it happens, you know. Yeah. But very rarely does that happen because it's really not a lot at the end of the show after that. So, but I've been called during intermission plenty of times, like, so, and I'm like eating a sandwich in the moment, and they're like, Karla, to wardrobe, and you're like, okay, here we go. But you know, show must go on. Ha.
Nice one. Do you have like a craziest memory of when you had to go in last minute?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Let me pick one. Well, intermission has been, that's one. What was it? Oh yeah. And there's been the crazy ones are when I have intermission is okay because at least you have like a built-in break, right, to get into costume. But if it's in between, in the first act, there's so many dance numbers that if it's in between one of those numbers like Yorktown and Helpless, and you just feel super pressured, because I also have to do my hair, like I have to put it in like a top knot and maybe put, you know, a little bit of makeup on and then get into costume. I'd say just the beginning, the first few times I was going on mid-show were really stressful because, you know, you're when you're not on, you're not, especially towards like later in your swing career, you already know how it works and you're like, okay, I'm going to go on and then whatever. But if you're not scheduled to go on, you're in the dressing room, you're relaxing, you're maybe, you know, doing some yoga or watching some Netflix or sleeping.
Yeah.
So the feeling of being a swing when you're not on, and then when you're like jolted into like, okay, put your costume on, like,
get the hair.
Yeah. Maybe do some leg swings, you know. So it's been an adjustment and finding that like balance and be like, okay, you could be doing this entire show right now, so be prepared. But I'd say intermission or like after Yorktown, because you also have to take care of your body, you know, like it's almost harder, more difficult to not be on every night and then just be thrown on. Like our bodies are saving a lot of stress not doing the show every night, but then once you're thrown on, it's like you don't get time to warm up. So you have to constantly just be fit, I guess.
Yeah, I could imagine, especially for Yorktown, where there's so much movement and high energy, that if you go on right before, right after, the rest of the cast just has this different energy.
Yes, that's a really, really good point. You know, I think that the best ensemble members, and I have been an onstage ensemble member in every other show that I've been in. This is my 4th Broadway show. You know, I've done 2 tours, and I will say that the best onstage casts are the ones who can adapt and adjust to different energies on stage. When one, and I'm guilty of this as well, like being on stage and doing your own show and like not adjusting, it makes it difficult to have that collaborative ensemble energy. Yeah. And I love when swings go on. If I'm an onstage cast member in the past, like, I would love, because it changes it up, you know, and your partner is someone different. Although I can understand how partnering with a different person and being with different people can really switch up your energy when you want to do your, you know, your everyday show. But I will say that I think our cast, our onstage cast is super, super good adjusting, and which that just makes our, you know, our lives, everyone's life easier when we're being thrown on constantly. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just chatting with Antoine Magic Raymond, who
Yes,
I could
Magic! Oh my gosh, I miss everyone. Oh my god.
like I said before, I couldn't imagine being a swing, let alone a universal swing where
Oh,
you
I
have
can't.
to. Ooh,
Yeah, I have so much respect for. I do not want that job. I mean, I've said in the past, like I'd never want to swing like any show, and now I'm swinging a show and I love it. But but
yeah,
those universals, they have it really difficult. Like that is a tough job because all the companies are different. So not only when they change, they have to adjust to different tracks within the company, but then like people in New York, the bullet track in New York is different from the bullet track in Chicago. Like that is respect.
wow. And I think, I've heard that from a few different people, but a lot of people watching at home might not realize, like, what are some of the things that make it different?
Oh yeah, and well, what it is the hard part is it's very subtle. So you'd think that the changes were were large and extreme, but it's as subtle as the bullet track in New York does this bop ma here, just does this kick on this part, but in Chicago or on tour, the person who does that kick is this other person, is this other track, and she does it in a different song. Like it kind of, it's so small and so slight, but that makes it harder because then you're like, well, when does she do it? That it just gets really confusing. I can imagine. And I'm sure if I were to actually take on the task, like it would be fine. And I didn't think that I'd be like juggling 5 tracks, now, and it's a lot easier, but definitely that's a tough job.
Right.
It makes you wonder, like, why can't it just all be the same?
Yeah, right. As if Hamilton weren't hard enough. Let's just change it up.
Yeah, but it's kind of what's nice about that, though, with the small nuances in different companies, is it gives each company its own identity for sure. So even if it's the same show, there are special little qualities that other companies don't have.
Yeah. So have you had a chance to just sit in the audience and watch it?
It's funny because I watched it twice when my friend got it before I joined, and I didn't think I was going to be in it. I just watched it and I was like, wow, that would be really cool, And then a month later, I got hired to be a swing. So I'm like, okay, now I'm here. And then once you're hired and learning the show, when you watch in the audience, you're obviously watching to learn. You're not sitting back and like, let me be a patron and watch this Broadway show. You're like, no, what does this person do? So your mind completely shifts from enjoyment to stress and just learning the different parts.
Wow.
But I will say, I had a personal day to go see one of my best friends, Robbie, became Charles Lee on the tour, and they were in Boston. And so I took a personal day to go up. I bought a ticket to the show that I am currently in. This is how much I love him. And I sat there, and it was nice because it wasn't my company. So I wasn't trying to, study or analyze or like take notes or whatever. I was just letting it wash over. And I sat in a seat, and it was in Boston. And I remembered what it felt like to see the show for the first time. And oh, it was amazing. And this is 3 years into my run in the show. And to be able to appreciate it like it was my first time, it was another reminder. Like I feel so grateful to be a part of this movement. Yeah. And that has never changed. So it's always a good reminder when you visit another company, or even tonight or tomorrow. It's gonna be really, really special for sure.
Yes, I do quite often think, look around at how lucky we are to be alive right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like, even though we can't come together and watch a show live, like again, at this even being captured on film, like it's a good time to remind ourselves that art is healing and that it exists, and that one day live theater will be back. And we should look forward to that.
Yes, 100%. Something that I was thinking about is that when you are doing a show like that, and as a swing, so you're waiting in the wings, and it's, you know, it's such a different experience, like you said, than if you were actually on stage every single night doing the exact same track, which is a different type of hard ask to do, but also amazing and fulfilling. Do you notice different things whenever you go on? Like when I see the show different times, I'm like, oh, let me check out the ensembles more in this number, or let me check out the lighting design, or what are they doing up on the balcony? Like I try to focus on different things. Do you ever have that when you're either on the side or when you're actually in it?
Yeah, no, like I said again, like when you're swinging, you're studying your parts, it's quite difficult to stray and to notice those things. But like when I watched the touring company, you know, I was watching Helpless, and this is so embarrassing, but I noticed the hanging lights, and I'm like, do we have that in our company? Is that, I didn't know that was a thing, because I never had to look up, or, you know, I'm like studying the choreography and seeing who I'm partnering with. And I would sit there and I was like, that is so pretty. That's amazing. You know, but I mean, that's how my mind works. I feel like a lot of maybe other swings and other people in the show are able to take in like things around them. But again, that's why I love this time, because I'm excited to like watch the show tomorrow without any other thought in my mind, but to just enjoy and to let it wash over, and to not think, you know, because I'm a very hard worker and I'm a perfectionist. And I know that even 4 years into this contract, to my contract, I'm still like looking at things very logistically, and like, how am I going to do my job better? Like, I'm never just kind of, unless somebody new is on in a lead, or you know, somebody new in an ensemble, like you're out enjoying, or if it's one of the last performances of somebody and they're leaving, you know, then you enjoy their one number. But yeah, this is such a rare occasion that, you know, I'm not going to work next week. I'm not going to work next month. Like, this is just a time to really take in the show. So I look forward to, noticing all the little nuances and stuff that I didn't before.
Yeah, that'll be amazing. And we've been talking so much about Hamilton because of the time we're in, but also you've had such an amazing career. And I'd love to talk a little bit about some of those other projects you've been on, like Smash.
Oh my gosh, yes, that is a throwback. They released the live concert for Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS that we did, the Bombshell concert, just a month ago. I'm not sure if you checked it out or anybody else, but that was one of my favorite moments in my career. It was 6 months of filming in Brooklyn as a principal dancer for the second season of Smash, and working for Josh Vergas for the first time. He choreographed the show, and that started our relationship, and I was able to do a lot of other gigs with him. But I also met like amazing people, and I worked with you know, like Megan Hilty, who is the sweetest, and Catherine McPhee, and all the other dancers. But we were literally like the lead dancers of our so if you've seen the second season, it's the Bombshell show about Marilyn Monroe, and then the Rival show, which is like the downtown edgy show called List. And Bombshell was obviously more of a classic theater piece, and Hit List was kind of like a Rent meets, like, I don't even know, how would you describe?
I know, it is almost like a Rent meets Spring Awakening, I might say.
Yeah, it's like a public theater, like independent piece. Yeah, something that you'd find downtown. And so I was a part of that cast, and so our movement was a lot jazzier and edgy. We were like the edgy cast. And so it was really, really fun. I think Smash has been such a cool thing for New York City, for our Broadway community, because at the time, I think it was kind of on the coattails of Glee, where, you know, it was like we were celebrating theater, and we were celebrating just musicals in general. And I think that it gave New York New York dancers and actors something to be proud of, and seeing the ins and outs of the Broadway industry, although dramatized, obviously, but like some of the drama was, you know, it happens.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I think that there was a lot of talent in that show. So it was super fun.
Yeah, there was a lot of talent. It was so much fun to watch that. And, you know, sometimes I go back and I watch certain scenes, or like the Bombshell concert. That was so much fun. And
Yeah.
it's that nice thing about, if we're not going to have live theater right now and for a little while, it's nice that they give us some of those videos, like concerts that maybe we never would have gotten to see.
Exactly. Like I think, and it's nice because it is super focused. Like it's like, here, everybody, watch this, you know,
Yeah.
as opposed to like when we are all out and about and it's like, oh, there's so much to do, so much to see. It's like, now's the time that most of us are sheltered in place, or we should be. And
yes,
you know, like what we're looking for things to inspire us. And so it's definitely, yeah, it's a good thing.
Yes, for sure. And with your choreography and your education, do you find that when you're in different settings that those inspire the different movements that then add to your repertoire?
That's such a great question. Thank you. Yeah, I think, you know, for me, the trajectory of my choreography is so in line with the trajectory of my career. I am one that is inspired by being exposed to different pieces of art or movies and dance, you know, dance movement. And the choreographers I've worked with, from like Sergio to Andy Blankenbuehler and Josh Vergas, like they have, and Wayne Salento, I did Wicked, you know, like all these different types of dance in theater have really formed my voice as a choreographer for sure. And also including my collegiate, you know, career, like studying modern and postmodern, because I was a jazz kid growing up. Like I was a competition jazz kid, and that is my roots. But just, you know, the moment you're exposed to different things, like it's obviously going to inspire new ways of moving and new perspectives. So whenever people ask me like, well, how do you, you know, how do you form like your voice or whatever? And I'm like, just keep dancing, keep seeing things, notice all art, watch movies, read books. Like you, like it clicks like that for me, like where I see something that I enjoy, like watching the Frug in Sweet Charity, like that's been like influence, you know, since I was a little girl, or like watching Fosse on like the VHS. Yeah, and so a lot of my style is, I hate using the word fusion because it is really vague, but it is a combination of the different pieces, like work that I've performed. And especially the most influential is obviously Hamilton, an American musical. I'll say the whole title.
I know.
It's an American musical, just so you know.
Anyone was wondering.
But yeah, because, you know, Andy has his use of the ensemble in Broadway show, I think has been innovative for the industry, and like that we are constantly on stage and we are extensions of the main characters. And I think that's super exciting because it brings dance back to life. Like we are not just a plug and play usage of ensemble. It's like we are living, breathing emotions. And so we are invaluable throughout the whole show. And that's something that I want to implement when I start choreographing Broadway shows, because I think dance is so beautiful. You know, I know Broadway is, you know, acting and singing gets a lot of the attention because obviously like it's super appreciated, but I think I want to bring back dance musicals, like honor the days of so many of them, like Moving Out and Fosse, and Fosse's other, you know, musicals from before, like Big Deal, or, you know, like any of his shows really. And I think that like it's time. That happens in my lifetime as a choreographer for sure.
That's such an amazing point, because I think Hamilton for me inspired noticing a lot more of the choreography and the ensemble members in other musicals that I see. And right? Like I always appreciated it. I've loved Broadway since I was a little kid, and I just thought the whole production value was great. But it really is cool to specifically be like, yo, did you see what that one member in Wicked did? Or, oh, in the SHO, which I know you were a part of with the choreography.
Yeah.
That was, can we talk about the choreography in the SHO?
Okay, so funny thing is I actually never saw the full production because they closed before I had the chance to. And I was, Chris Catelli was so kind to ask 6 up-and-coming choreographers to help with the mega mix at the end and choreograph our own work, our own section of it. And then he credited us in the playbill. But my section was seen during previews, but unfortunately it had to be cut when they opened. Yeah. So it was bittersweet because it was like, oh my gosh, this is such a great opportunity. But with any show and iteration, like new iteration, like their cuts are going to be made, and it hurt, but I understood. And Chris was super, super kind in his email in explaining, how it happened, and like, because there were a lot of us choreographers, and so that mega mix was really, really long at the end.
Yeah.
I didn't take it personally at all, and I don't take offense to it because I know that my work is good and that it's going to be seen in other, in other ways. But that was really, really special that I got to be a part of it. Because he also was celebrating dance. He was celebrating her music and how, like, it's so fun to dance to. So definitely appreciated that. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I think it shows a lot of grace with you that you can work really hard on something, and sometimes it works and everyone gets to see it, and sometimes it just helps the development of the show.
Oh, that's such a good point. Yes, exactly. What is your dream show to choreograph? Oh, I've always wanted to do, so again, like I'd love to do a dance musical. I don't know what it's going to be about, but something that, has influences from different cultures and that is just appreciating dance and movement, and telling a story. But I've always wanted to do a revival of Sweet Charity. Like I would love to do something with the Frug and with what I've learned and just paying homage, to Fosse. But and West Side Story. Like I was in the revival, and I would love to do a version of West Side as well. There's been like a million. There's the movie coming out. There's the show. So it's not anytime soon, but
in the future.
Yeah. Exactly.
And coming from your point of view, I wanted to talk about, I saw that you were listed as like one of the 30 under 30 top Filipinos.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And that was, I just celebrated the birthday yesterday. So that was a few years ago. So I'm no longer under 30. But yes, that was so nice. That was Unipro organizations, 30 under 30. And I really embrace my Filipino identity. I'm still continuing to educate myself even more about my background. I think we all at this time, especially, with social justice, like we are continuing to educate ourselves. And, I think I'm embarrassed to say that during this time, because we have time, I think it's allowed us to, welcome more education and things that we have not been taught. So I'm really taking advantage of that. And that includes not just for Black Lives, but also for my own identity and for my own background. So I've become more curious in an authentic way about that. But I definitely rep like the Philippines. My parents are immigrants. They came from the Philippines, and they became successful here. And they always wanted me to excel no matter what, like not just because you're Filipino or amongst Filipinos, but in every aspect, and it, regardless of what your color is. So that's something they always told me to dream big. And I just want to inspire people in my community and others who look like me to that, there is anything is possible. And I'd love to continue to give back too. So there's many things that this quarantine has really shed light upon for myself, because, with everything going on, I'm also like, what have I been doing in my Broadway bubble? I need to go. I'd love to teach at inner city communities and just to, do what's within my power to just help give kids access, or people who don't often have the same opportunities. That's something that I do want to do, especially when we get the chance to come together again, for sure.
Beautifully said. Yeah, I have my Brazilian and Jewish roots that I've been really digging deep in.
That's
Yeah.
a fun mix. Yeah.
That's
Do you find that like at this time, like you're even going, further into your own background, right?
Yeah, for sure. Because I've been, trying to lift up other people's voices, and especially in the Black Lives Matter movement. But as you said, there are so many people, so many diverse backgrounds that we need to celebrate and lift up, and make Broadway less of the great white way.
Yeah, absolutely. So I love that. Yeah, that's so great. That's so nice to hear too, that you're also, that we're all kind of like having this like re-examining of what we stand for.
Yes, and I hope you had a wonderful birthday.
Thank you. I did. I kind of went crazy with the pictures on Instagram. I'm like,
it was great.
I felt very special. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, everyone's saying, I love looking at people's social media right before I do these interviews. And it's nice to see all the love that you're getting, and you're clearly making an impact on this community.
Thank you so much. That's very, very kind. Thank you.
Yes, of course. So I'd like to ask Spencer's question. What are your favorite musicals? Both of you guys, you start.
Okay. Oh my gosh. To be in or to watch, anything, right?
Player's choice.
Okay. Oh my gosh. I mean, okay. For not being a part of, I love Jersey Boys. Jersey Boys, I mean, I just love the music. I think the direction was so fantastic, the pace of it. I could watch that music. I'm so sad that it's not on Broadway anymore, because I watched it like 4 times. Love that. To be a part of, I mean, I could go on for a long time, because every show that I've been in has a very special value to me. And at the time, because I connect a lot of my life and my emotions to my career. So for instance, being a part of Wicked, it was the first time that I was in a show that was so loved by an audience. And I think I feel that now, especially with Hamilton, but it was the first time I was like, oh my God, I'm like a part of like a really well-loved show. And before that, my Broadway debut was Hot Feet, which was a dance musical to Earth, Wind, and Fire music. So the music was incredible. It was not well received, but it was my Broadway debut. And I was 20 years old, and I got to perform in the biggest house on Broadway at the time, which was the Hilton, which is now the Lyric. And my sister was saying she observed that like a lot of my, not that I make excuses, but anything I'm a part of, I always tend to find like a positive way of looking at it. And I'm like, it was great because of this. But I think that's something that's like super natural, because there is always like something to find that you connect to positively in any circumstance. And West Side Story, when I got to do that revival in 2009 or 10, I mean, to do that iconic choreography, and be a part of that show was very, very special to me. And the music, you just can't get any more iconic than that piece. And then now Hamilton, it's like, I can't top it. It's just the most fulfilling and rewarding thing as a person and as an artist that I've been a part of.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, you go.
Well, and I love what you're saying about that you can always find something positive, because I find too many times people will try to find the negative, and it's like, why? There are so many good things, whether you love the choreography, you love the music, you loved this one scene. There's always something about a musical that you can find that you enjoyed. So I loved hearing that part.
Yeah, totally.
So, I mean, like the obvious answer would have to be Hamilton, right? Like I just like I've seen it so many times. Like that's how I've met so many of my friends, and that's how I met my boyfriend, and like
I love that.
Yeah.
I met mine too.
Isn't that amazing? And I feel like I have sometimes a favorite musical for like a feeling. Like I love Newsies. There's a strong female reporter character, so I certainly
My boyfriend was in Newsies. So funny.
talk about good dancing.
Yeah, the dancing is amazing.
I love a good Newsies dance break.
Yes. They're amazing. That stuff is so hard. That choreography is hard.
I could not imagine. Oh, so much fun. And like the way that they twirl on the newspaper, so cool.
Ryan Steele, yeah. And they're all that's Chris Gattelli, and he won the Tony for it.
Yeah.
That was super fun. I saw that twice for sure.
Oh wow, amazing. Yeah. And I'm just gonna throw two more out there that I like absolutely love. Hadestown. Ooh.
Oh, that was beautiful. I did forget to say that. Actually, Hadestown, this year, I loved Hadestown and Jagged Little Pill. Did you get to see that?
I've seen that 3 times.
Oh my God. I can't believe I forgot to mention that. That was amazing. And I know that it got like a little bit of mixed reviews, but I don't know, like it was very powerful to me. And I love the choreography and the grittiness of it. Sorry, go ahead.
No, please. Believe me, I love all those. I could list like 20 of my favorite musicals. So I appreciate that you feel that. And then and Andy saying Wicked. Wicked and Hairspray were my first like and I guess Rent, like growing up musicals that I would just like listen to all the time. And when I finally saw Wicked live, it was like larger than life, and I had like all green, and it was so exciting. Yeah, that was
I love that growing up musicals. It's so good. You change as a person, so what you appreciate changes too, right? Like I got moving out 3 times because I was a doe-eyed dancer from college, like just like, wow, look at these superstars dancing like their hearts out. So I totally get how like you have growing up musicals, and then you have like musicals, you have your current state musicals. Yeah, totally.
And when the West End reopens, I highly recommend people check out & Juliet.
Oh, okay.
That's like 90s music, like all of those greats like Britney and NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, but then also like Kelly Clarkson. And it tells
& Juliet.
Well, it tells the story, what if Juliet didn't kill herself and continues and lives her best life?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, very clever. It's good. And the dancing's really fun too. So that's why I was thinking of it. Yes.
I love that.
Yes. So I see that our time is wrapping up, and I always like to ask if there are any specific nonprofits or charities that you'd like to give a shout out to.
Oh, I love that. So I am super moved by the Equal Justice Initiative. Like I kind of wish there was something in New York like that I could just go and like stuff envelopes or do something for them. But if we can't do that, then definitely I'd love that to be highlighted and donated. And then the one where I'm donating so every Friday, my class for a cause at 4 p.m. I like to encourage people to donate to a different cause. And last week was for Elijah McClain's family. And tomorrow we are going to donate to the Black Immigrant Collective, which I love because obviously our Black Lives Matter and is intersecting with the idea of immigrants as well. My parents were immigrants, and Hamilton was an immigrant. But I'd love to encourage people to check that out. And I think that's those two for now. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, those are wonderful. Yeah, of course. And where can people find you on social media? And you said with the 4 p.m. tomorrow, is there anything else we should keep an eye out for?
Yeah, so every Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I teach an Instagram Live, and you can dance on, dance and follow along, or you can just hang out and watch, grab a drink, and like watch. I bring a lot of my friends live with me to dance, and most of them are in different companies of Hamilton, so it's actually lots of fun. And then we donate. So it's a fun hour to just hang out. But my Instagram is Karla Puno Garcia. It's just my full name that you see displayed here. Check that out. And I also, for the dancers out there, I teach at Broadway Dance Center Zoom online, and you can find that information on my Instagram as well. So
Yay, that's awesome. And y'all can find me at bwaySHO, that's bwaySHO, as you see across this whole banner. And you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. As I mentioned, we have a bwaySHO Patreon, and we're having a Showtreon viewing party of Hamilton. So if you've ever considered joining, now is the time to stand. So with that being said, I'm so excited to see Hamilton. I'm so excited that you came on and joined, and everyone who is here commenting along. Y'all are awesome. So Karla, I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you, guys. Enjoy the movie.
Thanks. Bye, y'all.
Bye.